Welcome back here. LC Repairs. I'm Larry, and I haven't been on in a while. I've made a lot of footage, but I haven't put it on because I've really been busy and studying and whatever. I'll share with you what's been going on here. And we may even go backwards. I've got some footage we may show if anybody's interested in this. I don't know why they wouldn't be. This is mechanic work that I don't really care to do, but that's what I do a lot of. Anyway, you see my shining face. Things are good here. We've got some new shop tools coming in, and I promise you, Scott, if you ever see, if you hadn't give up on me, we will have some footage coming up on some good shop stuff, shop-worthy stuff. This is not shop-worthy. This is mechanic work that I don't care to do, but this is what I have done for over 30 years, and so occasionally I'll let people talk me into doing some of this work, even though I've gotten away from the dealership. I think nearly 11 months ago now, since I've been away, and I've started doing a little bit more of this because I'm trying to fund some equipment for the shop here so we can eventually divorce all of this, and we'll start playing with our machine tools more, and fabrication and welding and things that are a lot more fun than working on automotive stuff. Who wants to get greasy and nasty and break their back? Yeah, it's fun when you're young, but it's not fun when you're 50 years old anymore. This is if you want to hear, I'll give you a little update on this, and I'll walk you around here in just a minute. Try to be quick as I can because I know nobody wants to watch a 30 or 40 minute video, so here we go. This is a good friend of mine a business guy from a neighboring town here that asked me if I would put an engine in his truck, or a long block. Well, Brady, I don't do that kind of work. I know. Just thought I'd ask. Thinking, well, I could do that. Why wouldn't I do that? I feel like people ask me to do that stuff is because they don't trust anybody else to do it. So I say, well, let me think about it. I say, yeah, okay, I'll do it. If you're not in a big hurry, I'll do it. So, as it turned out, he wasn't in a big hurry, and he's fixing up this truck as an extra truck for, I don't remember the story. Maybe his daughter's going to drive this. I don't remember for sure. Anyway, it's a long story. Somebody murdered this engine, and he brought me another long block, and you'll see some of it. If I ever put any footage up, which I have quite a bit of footage of this engine deal, and anyway, I'll show you around that, and I've got some more exciting news to share with you about some future shop stuff that's coming up pretty soon, actually, in a couple of weeks probably. And I hope we can get more involved in that type of footage. And as we learn together, if anybody has anything to add to anything that I have, please get in the comments and let's hear about it. And I want to learn all I can about anything that I don't know. This particular subject matter I know a good little bit about. Unfortunately, I've spent many years in this business, so we're not here to debate this. I'm just here to show it to you. This is the new long block. I had to put a front cover on it because the oil pump was thrashed. And, if you follow me on Facebook, you saw that video, and that's, I don't think I have that footage. That was just a Facebook footage, but I'm starting back together. The wires are just laying here because that's the biggest part of this puzzle, figuring out how all the wire harness gets back in here. But let's walk around and look around, and then I'll tell you some stuff about what we're going to do here. So, let me turn you on, make sure you can see what I'm seeing. My GoPro is still broke down. I may have to get a new one. This is a cheap camera that is a GoPro wannabe, but it's not a GoPro. Anyway, yeah, we pulled the cab off this. I'll just this is going to be a backwards order video series if we put this on. And yeah, we pulled the cab. That's not a big deal. We've done many of them. I've even done a few in this shop, but this will be the first time I ever pulled an engine out in this shop. He looks like he's already put new batteries in this, and that's fine. There's the FICOM. Here's some parts. I always put the parts in the back of the truck if I can to keep them off the floor and out of the way. I've got quite a bit of stuff already together, believe it or not. We're getting real close to putting the turbo. There's the power steering pump and some fuel lines, and I don't want to carry on with this very long. This is really boring stuff to me, but if you're interested in this, I'm always willing to help anybody that wants to work on a 6-liter diesel. I've done this for many years. Since they came out, I've done 6-liter repairs. You're going to have a hard time finding something I haven't already done on one of these. And don't want to sound like a know-it-all, but you know, I've just done a lot of this work. This is what I've done for since 2003. This is what I did on these up until a year ago. So these engines are no more. They haven't built this engine since 2003. That engine's junk and no good anymore. It's out. There's been 2 engines since. We won't even worry about it. This is the condition of the shop. This oil cooler come out of this. I'll show you. There's a bolt broke off right here. I had an extra cover. This is an oil cooler housing. I had another one used that I used on this engine. If I ever get around to it, I might try to drill this bolt out. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. I'm going to get centered up on it at some point. We might shoot a little video of that if we want to. It's not anything that anybody hadn't ever done, but these are tight. These cut their own threads when they go in. I'm expecting that to not come out very easily. So, luckily we've got some good weather here lately. Let me show you. This is amazing. This is August the 11th. Look at the temperature. It's ridiculous. 89 degrees in the shop. It's usually 100 to 110. It's nearly 6 o'clock in the evening. That's about the hottest time of the day. Look at that. We had a nice cold front come through, and we had a little bit of rain. I've got about a ½ inch of rain this week, which I know is not a lot, but it is very welcome. And we've had some cloud cover, and it's cooled down from, we had 113 degree temperature a week or two ago, and we're down to 89 degrees. I think it got up to 90 today. Sun's out pretty hot. We got a Chevrolet here that I had to work on today. Got a radiator and cooling system problems. I know you ain't gonna see nothing out in this. This was a real simple job. I've got a few things. The pulley and the air duct was messed up. I'm gonna go ahead and put a hose and a thermostat while we got this apart. So, still got a mess over here we got to clean up. Part of the exciting news I keep flirting you with, I do have a plasma table, CNC plasma table coming. This particular Hypertherm XP 45 XP did not come with a CPC fitting right here, connector, electrical connector that goes to your CNC controller. So I do have the parts to put that on here. They make several models of these. I know a lot of people, I've read lots of times where people say the XP comes with that CPC connector. That is not true. Do not ever believe that. If you are in the market to get a Hypertherm plasma cutter, either plan on doing this repair yourself, and that's what I'm fixing to do, and I'll probably show you this video if I can. Probably not that difficult, but they do not all come with that. They make about 3 or 4 models of these that come with different leads and different features. And I did put this regulator on the back of it myself just to be sure we're regulating. I think they expect you to regulate 90 pounds of air, and I run about 175 pounds in the shop. So, and it does have a little bit of an air dryer, and I have an air dryer on my deal. Let me show you. I'm a little bit confused myself about, they say you need to be sure and run an air dryer on your air running that deal, and I don't, this is all I have, and let me see if there's any water in this. There's a little water coming out. I've never gotten much water out of my air tank, and I put this on here because, but there's just not much moisture ever comes out of my air, and I've never gotten a drop of water out of the end of any of my airlines. And I'm running PVC, 3/4 PVC looks like, and I need to add another one, but I've never had any water come out of my system. So I'm debating about whether I need to add any more air drying to this or not. Anyway, I'm rambling on for a long time, and I don't mean to, but let's get on with I don't know how close I showed any of this. I'm working on getting this together so I can put the cab back on here. Hopefully this weekend, I don't know. He's not in a hurry for this, but I'd like to get it done because I'd like to get paid someday for this stuff, to pay for these machines I've been buying. But anyway, that's where we're at with this deal. It's not a extremely big job. It's about a 3 or 4 day labor job that I've stretched out because I'm not home much. I have a full-time job, as you know, at school. So anyway, I am going to go in there and get set up in a little bit, and I'll show you. Here's the kit that I got for the Hypertherm 45XP. It comes with instructions. I really haven't had time to look at any of this much. I think it's pretty simple. It comes with a voltage divider board and connector, and that's what your CNC machine hooks up to. See here? This is what's going to point out the end of your machine when you're done. That's what your machine plugs into. This stuff apparently goes inside and hooks to your stuff inside. I'll have to look it up, look into that. I've already talked to Ross at what's the name of it? TrueCut CNC. This is the machine I've ordered is exactly the same machine that Gary Ramsey uses. It's called a TrueCut XT 4x8 size, and this is what I needed to hook up my deal. This is the ground that goes inside, and that's really all there is, and I don't think it's going to be that big a deal, but he did tell me what setting. There's some dip switches here. If anybody ever does this, there's I barely can remember. I think there's a 50 to 1. You can probably read that. It should be set on 50 to 1, and I got 40 to 1, 30 to 1, 21 to 1, and I think 20 to 1. Depending on your CNC controller, but the one he told me that they use is for 50 to 1, which is standard, and that's the way they come. If you have a 45XP that has this already built in, it is already from the factory set for 50 to 1, and that's what Ross told me that they have theirs set up to do. So anyway, that's where we're at with this. We'll check you in a little while. Well, I lost this video footage of when I had this engine tore apart, and I was showing a few things I was doing. It was on Facebook, and I think I've got a link to it here. I'll just show you this link. I don't know, maybe another way to do it, but that's the way I'm going to do it. So here's a video that's, I don't think it's very long, probably less than 10 minutes. You can join my Facebook anytime if you'd like to.
Good morning, kids. This is where we're at with this engine deal. This is one of these that takes a little time to do a proper engine job like this, which most of your shops just kind of throw stuff in and throw it out because they don't understand all of it for sure. But That's why I usually tell people it could take a while. So anyway, this is the engine that we pulled out of that truck over there for a guy here, and he's probably following this post. I'm just showing some info that may help somebody, or just to show him some of the things that we're doing. It may be interesting since it's his truck. I don't really need to say his name. I don't know that he, doesn't matter what his name is. If he wants to share who he is, he can do that. But anyway, this is the long block he brought to me, and it's fine. I just kind of got it sit out of the crate and kind of starting to look at what we need to go with it gasket-wise. The kit didn't have much in the way of gaskets or bolts and things that you should be replacing. But anyway, besides the fact that this has a dead cylinder in it, and I haven't pulled the heads because we don't really need to, because we have another one. For curiosity's sake, we may pull them off later just to see. Sure, there's a hole in one of the pistons, or a broke piston or something like that, because it was puffing pretty hard. So anyway, I pulled the front and rear engine covers because you got to get those off to put them on. And one thing, this thing was cranking a long time before it would start, and most likely it wouldn't start after it was warmed up. It's a 6-liter diesel, and that's one of the big problems that they can have. And it's not really a fault of the engine so much as it's just something has got in it to cause some of that. But anyway, right quick, without going too long, let me show you what I've already found. Well, first off, before we get into that, let me show you the most common cause of a crank no start on a 6-liter diesel. And there is some diagnosis to go through before you can get to this, but I'm going to tell you what the most common failures are is in these rails that are under the valve cover, these high-pressure oil rails that run your injectors. Most commonly is going to be one of these plugs. There's one in each side. They're just a plug that's in the rail, and these O-rings here will get deteriorated. It's hard to see, but they're already showing a little bit of sign of leakage. The updated ones have like a nylon backer ring on those that they're a little better, and they shouldn't fail again. Some of that's just from movement. When that oil is pulsing, it's kind of moving stuff around, and International had some issues in a lot of areas on a lot of engines, so it's not really a Ford thing as much as probably an International thing. But this is the other problem. You got one dent on each rail, and the other problem most commonly is going to be this is the original. It's called a STC, snap to connect fitting. This is your high pressure pump, oil pump that supplies oil to these rails. This thing sits there until it pops. You can see it's already kind of popping loose. They've got an updated style. It's more of a hydraulic fitting that goes in there. That is nearly every time the cause of a crank no start on a 6-liter diesel. Now, I'll show you what else can be a problem. These are all things you really don't know until you really start tearing into one. It's hard to really tell a customer exactly what you're going to find until you get in and start tearing it down. This is your regular oil pump, low pressure pump. Now, here's what you want to look for. I've just pulled, this is part of the engine front cover. I pulled the oil pump out of the housing, and the first thing I looked for and noticed is, you may not can see, but something has went through this pump. You can see where it's scarred right there around the front. Some piece of metal has went through this for some reason. It don't take much for that to not pump the proper amount of oil. Also, you look in this cover, you can see there's scoring right here, and more important than that, there's scoring right here. So this is junk. This front cover is junk. The oil pump is junk. We're going to have to replace the cover and pump, but you can buy those as an assembly already loaded, and they're pretty expensive. But that's going to be our main reason right here, that thing just almost won't start. It just ain't pumping enough oil. That thing will start sucking air. It just can't pump oil right with scoring in that, and there's most likely also going to be, and this is the regulator valve, most likely there's probably a little debris in there. There's probably some ground up metal that's causing issues. And I think he said the guy he bought this truck from, he didn't believe had changed his oil, and there's been some failures in this thing. I can tell it's been apart before, parts of it. no telling who worked on it and what kind of bad job they've done and you got to be real clean if you're over in here, and they probably let some junk get in there, and some kind of debris has went through that, and so, we're seeing a few more parts to do this job than what we kind of thought we might need, but like I said, you never really know until you get into one. Anyway, that's just the status of where we're at right now. I'm just trying to get some things cleaned up and assembled so I can set that block back in here, and then I'll start assembling things as I can. So anyway, that's where we're at with this. See you guys later. Alright, that's just the short video there that I had put on Facebook. So I'm going to close this out now. That's probably a silly way to do that, but that's the way I'm doing it. Welcome back to the project. Or is this the projects? Yeah, I've been waiting on parts for my engine crane like I showed you, and I finally got them. Took about a week. Anyway, I put new seals in this and it picked up the engine fine. But we made a mess in here. I had a little problem, but I'm bad about forgetting when I'm filling up my portacool. I overflow it with water. But we got the engine out of this just a little while ago. So, not sure where we left off with this project, showing you, but pulled the cab, stripped the engine down last week. Well, actually last Sunday. Today's Friday. And there's the parts, injectors, high pressure pump, rails, parts, miscellaneous, whatever. Been working on my hypertherm. I'll tell you a little bit about that soon. Looks like we're going to be getting a CNC plasma table soon. Went and visited with Gary Ramsey at his shop the other day, and thank you, Gary, if you ever see this. Appreciate your help. He showed us his through cut table, and we really enjoyed time over there watching and learning a little bit of that. So anyway, here's the old engine. Long block's what we're doing here. Here's the box the other one come in. We had a little trouble unloading because I didn't have my cherry picker crane fixed this morning when he came over with this, so we unloaded it by hand, which worked out pretty well. Luckily I had some help unloading that. So anyway, I got these two covers off of here. This engine here doesn't come with covers or anything, so I got to pull the pan, front and rear engine covers. I'm debating, I'm probably going to put a new oil cooler. Didn't come with any of that. I'll probably take that apart and redo the oil cooler, and I'm going to take the oil pump apart and clean it and look at it. See where we're at with that. It ain't that big a deal. It may look like it, but it's not really that big a deal. Anyway, it's kind of showing you where we're at tonight. It's Friday evening about 8:30. It'll be dark in a minute. My wife helped me do this. She wasn't real happy, but she helped me. This is the remanufactured long block that he brought me. It's got the studs here. I think it's got ARP studs instead of head bolts. Some people think are give them a little better strength. I'm not so sure. I guess it's a little better. Come with a few gaskets. I got a mess here. I hadn't
looked through here yet to see what all we got, but we got a few gaskets and seals. Come with a flywheel and there's the flywheel. Flywheel in the front, crank, pulley, and balancer. Anyway, that's where we're at for now. As soon as I can get this out of here, I got another one to do, I think. And I'll probably have a new plasma table in here within the next 4 or 5 weeks. And I got a lot of cleaning up to do to get ready for that. He brought this little cherry picker, Harbor Freight job, in case I needed it, but I haven't needed it yet. I may hang both engines up in there when I get to putting the parts on. I've got to clean up a lot of this, and I'll probably spend tomorrow and Sunday and maybe next week, depending on the weather, kind of getting this cleaned up and transferring parts around. I'm thinking I'm going to go ahead and put an oil cooler in that because I don't trust any of that, and I'm surprised it didn't come with one. Actually, I can't believe they didn't put an oil cooler. They don't even have the screen in here, so yeah, we got a lot of that to do. Just catching up on this, and I'll see where we're at with all this. I just wanted to tell you where we're at, and probably start moving this stuff around when I get time. But here's where I got a mess. This thing flipped over on me earlier. I had a little catastrophe. Hope I didn't tear nothing up, but anyway, that's where we're at for now. So, in case I didn't show you earlier, I know we talked about the cab bolts. This is where the front cab bolts go. One beside the radiator, one under your feet inside the cab right here. Oops, sorry. This one is the one I showed you, but well, I didn't really show it. I was talking about. This is kind of right behind and under the driver's seat. Probably can't see under here. And the ones that go down here are the ones behind the rear seat of the pickup. Right there. It's really all the cab bolts there are. If you hadn't ever did one of these, all the transmission harnesses and stuff stay here with it, other than the linkage to the shifter. Kind of unbolt that. You can either unbolt it or take it to the linkage, the cable loose, whichever. Anyway, that's where we're at. This shop is a mess. I got to get these engines built. I've been trying to keep the grease and stuff picked up off the floor, but I made a mess with the water. What you're seeing is water in the floor. Luckily, it doesn't hurt anything in here. It's just concrete floor, and most of it kind of runs over that way, out of here. So anyway, it's almost getting dark. Like I said, it's 8:30, nearly 8:40. Finally cooling off. It's probably down to 90, a little over 90 degrees. Charged the battery on the boat today, so I can trying to get ready to get this out of here. And it's a very nice time of the evening here. It's starting to cool off. If I have to go get my plasma table, that trailer out there is what I'll be using. The trailer's about a year old and hadn't went but maybe 3 trips in it. Didn't have to use the tractor yet. Thought I was going to have to pick it up with that, but I didn't. There's the bumper that come off that truck that was bent up. He didn't want it anymore. Anyway, that's just kind of where we're at with this project. I'll probably go ahead and set this down in a minute in case that thing decides to fall down tonight. But anyway, here's the cam. If you ever have a camshaft issue or even a lifter failure. The reason you can't fix that really in the vehicle, here's the cam gear, which is behind the crankshaft. So you can't pull this cam out. And this is the rear of the engine anyway, so there's nothing, even if you pull the transmission out, you can't get this cam out. That's an engine disassemble job. If you ever have to do that, you're probably better off just to get you a short block, because you can't pull that cam out without just pulling the crank out first. So if you're going to pull the crank out, you might as well just rebuild the engine or get you a short block. So just showing that. I've had somebody tell me one time that they knew somebody that changed their camshaft out in the vehicle. They're full of crap. They did not. You can't get that out of there. If you do, you're going to have some really goofy things you're doing. There's no way you can. You can forget it. You're not going to do that. Anyway, that's where we're at with this job, and we'll catch you later.